What's up, guys? Mitch from RespectMyRegion.com back with another episode of the North American Weed Tour podcast, episode 63. Today, I'm joined by Eric Chavez of Boundless Technology. How you doing today, Eric?
Doing well, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Excited to be
thank
here.
you. Thank you for hopping on here, man. We've been interviewing people all across the country and a little bit outside the country, across the world about cannabis, talking about all the different aspects from cultivation to manufacturing to concentrates to ancillary businesses to marketing and everything. So you're on here today to talk about vaporizers, which is what you guys at Boundless Tech do very well. So before we get into Boundless, I'd like to just kick it off briefly, the little introduction of yourself and kind of your history around the industry or the plant.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my name's Eric Chavez. Appreciate you having me here today. I first got involved with the plant when I was, I guess, in high school. Had some friends who, were using it too, and we just decided to try it together. And it really helped with the anxiety. I was stressing a lot, back then, trying to get good grades and all that. And it actually helped me through it. I would do it on the weekends here and there. Then as I got older, I just wanted to learn more about the science behind it and see how, the actual what was actually going on and the effects that was, having on the body. So I learned about vaporizers there and got that interest going and ended up linking up with a friend who started Boundless Technology. And here I am now, making products for the cannabis industry. I'm the director of product development at Boundless. So what that means is I work with our overseas team and our American team to create new products to vaporize cannabis and concentrates.
Yeah, so you're getting in the nitty gritty of helping create these. So we'll get into that a little bit
Yeah.
later. But when did Boundless start? Like, what was kind of the origin and the inspiration behind the Boundless brand?
Yeah, so it started in 2015. I had a friend from high school who linked up with a manufacturer overseas, and he actually had this idea to get the CFX, which is this vape right here, to the market. And essentially, what it is you load up your herb, put it in the chamber, then heat it up to a certain temperature, and essentially you're vaporizing the cannabinoids and terpenes from the product itself. So I linked up with him, and I started out as a VP marketing. I feel like I was really good at social skills and connecting with people. So I went into that field of the industry and started doing trade shows, planning those out, and just connecting with distributors and wholesalers out there and expanding our business. So it was really like a grassroots operation, just a couple of friends getting started and just going from there.
Yeah, and I was going to ask what product you guys first started with because I first heard of you guys when around the Terp Pen. That was just like a name that kudos to coming up with that name. That's a good name that just stuck with me. But actually, I got the CFX right here as well.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's what I was telling you. I loaded it up with some of this Alien Labs Xeno in there. So we'll taste the terp. So I just actually did a couple of reviews for you guys' products, and it's weird. Like my first or on the first one I showed my vaporizer, I had like the tube. I don't know what it's called, but the box with the long tube. That
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah. Vapor Bros are like a hot box. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It was off brand. It's probably from some smoke shop in like 2006 or something. It's a relic. Um, but I remember my first experiences with vaporizers were like, the volcano. I think a lot of people have tried
Yeah.
that. And then whatever the box. But I used to always I'm a blunt smoker. Like that's really my go-to way of consumption has been for a long time. But even at an early age, I really liked the vaporizer when obviously I didn't even know terpenes or anything. I just was always like,
Mhm.
dude, when I have really good tasting weed, I always would have to try it in the vaporizer because I'd be like, I don't know. You just get to taste it in a
Different
different way,
experience.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to ask is kind of like for you guys for the inspiration behind the vaporizer. Is it obviously vaporizers like the average consumer is buying a vaporizer for discretion or health reasons, but the taste is obviously a big factor. So for you guys, what are kind of the main pillars that go into making a device that you feel like it has to check off? Like what boxes does it have to check off?
Yeah, so we want it to be affordable first off and foremost. We came to the market at a reasonable price compared to what was out there, already. For example, there was like the leading high-end vape going for about $400, right?
Mhm.
And we released the CFX at about 180. So that opens the door for a lot of the average consumer to learn about vapes and try a vape out. So we strive for, education too, to, spread the word of vaporization and alternatives to smoking out to the cannabis community. And that's our main focus, to get the tech out there and um, teach people about it. So that's what
And
we, put in our products. We want it to be easy to use, first and foremost, and also affordable.
yeah, no, that makes sense, and that's definitely something I've noticed with you guys is it's not sacrificing on the quality, but a little bit more affordable because things out there are expensive. But it is like when you're manufacturing something that's got some technology into it, it's expensive to do. Um, any electronic that's around that size is expensive. Um, la, la, la. So when you guys design these, how much emphasis goes on into the taste and making sure that you're getting the right taste out of things, you're burning at a consistent level? Like what goes into the approach of you know navigating that?
Yeah, so we do have different rounds of, beta units and different testing units, but it does go through our team and primarily myself. I'm like the lead tester too. So if, I'm tasting something funny, I'm going to report it to the team and make sure we get that corrected. But we do want it to taste good and perform good because we're actually using it ourselves. So we're not going to, settle with a bunk tasting product.
Absolutely. And for you guys, I mean, you guys do a little bit that's concentrates, a little bit that are dry herb. The CFX obviously has the capabilities of doing both. What do you feel like is more popular in the realm of vaping? Is it concentrates or is it flower?
These past couple of years, man, the Turpin has been our best seller. It's this unit right here. It's, like I said, the affordability too. So it retails for $30, and it works well. It has a 3-year warranty to back it as well. But just the ease of use of it, you just inhale, no buttons needed, and just dab right into your concentrate. But we've seen, especially the markets like in California, the West Coast markets. Yeah, these things are selling like crazy. There's a lot of them out there now. But in terms of worldwide, dry herb units are still the most popular choice, like in Europe, and that's a big market out there too for us.
And that's what I've heard. Like just doing data and looking, I've seen that Europe is very big on dry herb, which is interesting in itself. And so, would it be safe to assume then that states are a little more mature and have legalization, the concentrates are a little more popular, and states that are potentially not have cannabis as accessible, herb is a little bit dry herbs a little bit more popular?
Yeah, I would say that exactly.
Yeah.
That's dead on it.
That's interesting because that was going to be one of my questions is where you guys see the most like where do you guys send the most products? You feel like, I mean, I know you guys work through distributors and different things, and then obviously have e-commerce through your site as well. So where are you guys sending the most products? Like what part of the world?
Yeah, majority West Coast, California, Washington, Oregon, and Canada too. Canada is a really big market for us, especially after that opened up, full legalization a couple years back. And Europe is still, one of our good chunks too. So I would say third, like U.S. West Coast, then Canada and Europe. Those are our top three.
Hmm, hmm. And then it'd be the rest of the US maybe falling in after that.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting. And I think like with the terpene, you guys obviously what was kind of the thought process of going into designing that? Because we're familiar, I'm familiar with it, and I like that it's, concentrates on the go are a difficult thing, right? Like we got your traditional like 510 thread or disposable vape pens, but when you have dabs on the, on the go, you have to have a rig. You got to pour water in it, pour water out, let everything cool down. It's kind of difficult. So what was kind of
Right.
the approach and the inspiration going into designing that product?
Yeah, like you said, just to eliminate all those unnecessary steps to consuming, we wanted to make it straightforward and easy, and especially for the older generation who isn't really that tech savvy or wants to mess around with e-nails or butane torches. This gives them an opportunity to try concentrates and see if that'll help with their everyday life.
Yeah. And then what are some of the unique features about that? I know them, but I'll let you explain some of those features.
Yes, so like I said, it's inhale activated, so you don't need a button to activate the heating element, and that's this right here. So you have a magnetic cap to cover that. You remove the cap, then you're able to get a dab tool or dip right into your jar and just inhale. And that blue light means it's heating up. you dip right into your concentrate. The longer you inhale, the hotter it gets. So if you want, a hotter temperature dab, you would inhale for a little longer. Whereas if you want a lower temperature dab, you just inhale for a couple seconds, then release.
And then with that lid, it helps it to where you can snap that lid back on, and you can put it right back in your pocket, right? Right after that.
Exactly. So if you need to be discreet, just put it in your pocket.
And that's like, you don't got to wait. Again, with the rig, you got to nail. You got to wait for it to cool down before you start packing it up and handling it and moving it. So it's ultimate. Definitely solves a lot of those issues, right, around dabbing on the go.
Exactly. Can I show a little demo?
Yeah, run it.
Cool. So I'm just gonna scoop a little concentrate out of the jar. I have some West Coast cured right now.
That's what I was gonna ask. What we had? You got some WCC?
Yeah, the ice cream cake. Here you go.
Okay.
So I have a little on my dab tool. So you can see it's like pretty instantaneous. And it's going to be a low temperature dab, but like I said, the longer you inhale, the hotter it gets and the bigger clouds you're able to get.
Yeah, but if for people out there that are connoisseurs, you want that low temp dab. You want to taste the flavor. And again, it's starting to heat up, but that is really quick. You only were inhaling for a couple seconds and you're able to get that dab, which is a lot quicker too, right? Quicker to get into the money than having to sit there and heat something up and then set your timer. I'm a rookie dabber, so I see everyone do it. I don't even know, like a device like that is perfect for me because I just got my first dab rig. I'm not new to smoking, but I just got my first personal own dab rig not too long ago, and I still don't know. I heat it up.
It can be intimidating, definitely.
Yeah, but even just the use, I get inconsistent use, right? Because I don't know how long should I heat it up for, how long should I, usually in the past before I had had one in my house, I was always around someone that was able to put me on, able to help hold my hand through the process.
Yeah, it's ready.
So outside of the terpen and this the CFX, what is the other what is the existing product line that you guys have right now?
Yeah, so we have a wide range. I have a couple units here, but essentially there's our lowest range products, and it goes all the way to our highest range. Our most affordable units about $64.99, and that's our CFC Lite. Then we have our highest end unit, the Terra here, and this is packs a punch. So it's a full convection vaporizer, which means you're only using hot air, and as you're drawing, it vaporizes the herb versus a conduction, which heats the herb directly. So you're able to preserve more of those terpenes and the good cannabinoids from your product. Then it runs off, as you can see, 2 removable 18650 batteries. So you could replace those with just similar amperage batteries, and if you're out on the go, just able to replace them quick and easy. And you have a pretty large metal chamber on the Terra too, so it's different than the ceramic. I feel it helps with the convection heat, keeps it more pure and enjoyable. Then we just released our Vexel, which is kind of on the lower mid-range side of the lineup, and that's this unit here. It's a portable, it's smaller than the palm of my hand, and conduction vaporizer. So it has a ceramic chamber with 4 preset temperatures, so the user doesn't have to know which temperature they need set it at. It's just preset, so you just choose one of the colors and you're good to go. 5 clicks to turn it on. Then it's color coded based on temperature. So sorry, it's a little blurry right now, but you can see the temperatures change. Red would be the highest and green would be the lowest.
Yeah, I just tried that one out too. I have it. I don't know where I had it, somewhere around here. But I just tried it out, and it is super, it's easy, fit in the pocket well. I got a dog, so taking the dog for a walk, I took it for a spin around the block. It's nice. Same thing, I live in a super suburban neighborhood, so sometimes when I'm taking the dog if I take a dog for a walk at night, I can spark up a backwood and, raise the volume, a little bit louder around the block. But obviously during the day, I'm not trying to do that. So having something a little more discreet like that, it's perfect. Yeah, and I definitely like that. And so for the CFX, the one you showed, the first one you showed before we started talking about that, that one does flower and herb as well, right?
Yeah, so it's a dual use vaporizer. You could put a little bit of concentrate in there. You could put some flour in there. It will vaporize both, but the concentrate's going to be like a lower session style experience. So it's not going to be some big old clouds of dab. You're just going to be able to mostly taste it and produce some smaller clouds, but it works.
Yeah, I that was one that I did. I don't think we put it out yet, but I did a review on that as well personally, and I don't even review a lot of the products we do. But I definitely liked. I tried some concentrates through that, and it definitely I was like, man, this is bringing out a different flavor, like
Mhm.
a more pronounced flavor than trying it out the rig.
Right. Yeah. It brings out a whole different profile. Vaping in general. That's why I like it a lot too, because there's those hidden profiles that you burn off when you're smoking, and vaporizing the herb. It really allows you to save those terpenes and cannabinoids and get some taste that you've never tasted before.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what like I said back my early experiences with
Mhm.
vaporizers was like I always had to when I got weed I really enjoyed like in a blunt I was like I gotta try in the vape to just like get the full experience. And we haven't done this, but I've always thought like to truly review weed, I feel like you should try it like in whatever your preferred medium is, but you got to add a vaporizer experience in there to like really, I don't know, really explore the palette, right?
Right.
And I have a question that's not as related to the products, but just out there that a lot of people have asked, and like I don't know, like what do you do with once you vaporize weed like flower, it's all
Yeah.
brown. I usually just throw it out, right? But people have asked me across like, what do you do with that? Do you know like do people cook with that or anything, or is it just garbage after that?
Yeah. So there's still some potent stuff, left in the vaped herb, and people collect it, and you can make edibles, coconut oil, butter, and it'll act just like an edible, if not sometimes even stronger. It's
Hmm.
already decarbed too. So, when you make edibles, you have to kind of decarb the bud before, like as one of the first steps to the process. This is already decarbed. So you're able to just, you can eat it actually,
That's
and
what I was about to
it'll
ask.
get you high. Yeah.
That okay, that's super interesting because I've seen I know like what is it raw ARA they do like those capsules in California of the
Yeah.
decarb flour, and I actually enjoyed those because I felt like you got a full spectrum, as opposed to like a distillate edible, just eating
Hmm.
flour, you got the full experience. So
It's
I might
pretty
have to
heavy.
start, yeah, I might have to start saving it, man. That's
Yeah.
and start cooking some edibles. And so, how long does it usually take you guys to design a new product? Like when it goes from the thought of idea to getting it out to the consumer, what's the lead time on that process?
It's actually changed recently due to, the pandemic and shipping and all that, the back and forth. We work with our manufacturer overseas, so there's a lot of transit issues that have come up recently. But currently, it's taking about a year and a half from start to finish.
So when we see a new product, when you guys are like, yeah, we're just dropping a brand new product, that's a year and a half in the works.
Yeah, there's some time that takes, to put into it and make sure everything's right, and rounds of testing, and have to get the A-OK from the whole team too. And yeah, it's a whole process.
And how many
It's fun.
products how many products have you guys designed that you feel like you start out and then you're like, yeah, this isn't cutting it. We're not going to see it all the way through.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that happens quite a lot actually. There's been a handful of vapes that I wish that we would have come out, but it was just maybe too much cost to go into it, or other issues that kind of put them on pause. But we build off those products we don't use and try to do our best for future products.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure sometimes, thinking of product design, you guys probably cook up something, you're like, there's no way this is going to be affordable or something like that.
Or then they
Yeah,
tell us, yeah, it's going to cost this much, and we're like, oh wow, can't do that.
yeah, won't be able to pass it on to the consumer. And so for you guys'
Mhm.
business too, is how much you guys doing like direct to consumer sales versus through distributors and other platforms?
Yeah, this year we actually seen an increase. The past couple years, actually, due to the pandemic as well, we've seen a huge increase in our retail site sales. So I think now at the moment it's about 50-50, man. It's
Wow.
And before it was probably like 80-20, to 80-20, 80 for the wholesale distribution and 20 for the
Mhm.
retail. But
And then beyond just the the supply chain issues of COVID, how did COVID? I mean, I guess you just answered it right there. Impacted you guys' direct to consumer business. Did you guys see like a lot of businesses in this space? Did you guys see a boom over the last year and a half?
yeah, man, a huge increase on those website sales.
Yeah. And so
So thank you to
what are
the community for support.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. What are some of the challenges of being in e-com? Again, you guys don't sell cannabis, but you guys are cannabis adjacent, very much related to cannabis. What are
Mhm.
some of the challenges you guys face with being a product that facilitates this industry?
Right. So we do get a lot of flags, and we do have to be wary about how we advertise. Especially on social media, um, we have to worry about getting strikes and banned. So we have to play it safe, as safe as possible. So it is tough. We are categorized just as another cannabis company, so the same restrictions apply to us.
And you guys have even issues with like newsletter platforms, payment processing, and things like that,
We actually haven't. Knock on wood. Everything's going well at the moment. There was actually a big vape mail ban that just happened recently too,
right?
and we found a workaway around that. It's going good.
Yeah, because did that affect, was that all vaporizers? Because I thought it was more centered around, obviously like Delta 8 and a lot of that stuff. And then, the vape gate with the black market vape cartridges of a year ago. But you just vaporizer in general kind of got roped into that.
Yeah, so that whole umbrella, encapsulate us too, and it's a pretty big bummer. But we worked with other companies in the industry to see what they're doing and helping each other out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always a challenge navigating the internet, regulations when you're involved somewhat in cannabis. Even we're media, but because
Right.
we cover cannabis stories, it's constantly a battle, everywhere. Incredibly inconsistent at that as well.
Yeah, man.
And so when you guys set out to build Boundless, was the goal to build e-commerce or was it to distribute through brick and mortar?
Yeah, so our goal was to get into smoke shops, yeah, and the early dispensaries. But we did find that working with wholesalers and distributors was the way to go early on, and that really helped us grow. But at post pandemic, we do see how much impact the retail site has on our business, and allows us to focus on that for the future now.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you feel like the vaporizer market is missing currently right now?
On our side of things, education. I feel like there's a lack of education and product knowledge. There's a lot of cheap vaporizers that kind of
Mm,
ruin the image of the brands that are trying to do good and educate the community. So a lot of the brands you find in smoke shops aren't really the best out there. Um, I would recommend do your research. Even on Reddit, there's some good resources there. Vapor Rents is a nice subreddit to learn about vapes and the great companies out there that are pushing the limits and educating the community out there.
and then speaking on terms of Reddit, like how much do you guys look into not just reviews on your guys' products, but also just the temperature of what people are saying about the vaporizer market? Like, are you guys really in tune with looking at that?
Yeah, so myself, I'm on there pretty much every day, either offering help if people need tips and tricks, things like that, and to do product research and market research, see what's going on. So we're
Yeah,
pretty active on there, and there's also other forums that are dedicated for vaporizers. One's called fuckcombustion.com, and that's trying to preach alternatives of smoking combustion.
absolutely. And so what do you think on the tune back to education? What are some of those points of education that you feel just people need to kind of like, or not need, but can grasp, or some areas that they could learn about to in the vaporizer market?
I think most importantly is the efficiency, and product is getting kind of expensive nowadays, especially with all the taxes and things like that. People, I feel bad seeing people burn their the product. If you vape it, you're able to get more out of it, and you could even reuse it, like we said, make edibles with the vape bud. So there's a lot of these things that, the average consumer doesn't know that we feel can help them save, in the long run and enjoy the product a lot more.
Absolutely. And then with people, when people buy products from you guys and reach out for more information, what do you feel like are some of the common things that they're curious about learning when it comes to vaporizers?
We get asked a lot if it does burn the material, if it's guaranteed to not burn, because we see a lot of people transitioning from joint smoking and looking for that product that's gonna help them in the next step, uh, to stop smoking. So a lot of questions like that, which is good, and we want people to ask, is it gonna really help me stop smoking?
And then you guys, because like even on the highest temperature, it doesn't in your guys' devices, it doesn't burn flour, correct?
Right, guaranteed. Yeah, and it's not gonna burn the flower.
Yeah, I was gonna say from my personal experience. I mean, I've tried it. I don't know 5 6 times through you guys' products on the flower side, and it's just brown. But like I told you, my old box vaporizer, there's definitely points when you load
Right.
that, and it wouldn't necessarily burn. I don't know. It had to burn because it'd be brown, and there'd be like black spots where it was like that shit got cooked in there.
Yeah, some of the early tech, you had to be really finicky with it, make sure it wasn't too close or packed just a certain, depth, and we try to make it
Yeah,
easy now.
and another thing too, like that I want to ask is like, and you mentioned earlier with a lower temp, you're going to see a smaller cloud, right? You're going to get more taste, but you're going to see a smaller cloud. And most people identify smoking, with the cloud, right? We like to, play with smoke. People French inhale. People like to do all that.
Right.
Um, how much is there a learning curve for people understanding? All right, when you're vaporizing, it's not. I mean, you're not smoking. It's an alternative to smoking, so you're not getting these big clouds of smoke. Do you feel like there's a learning curve for consumers around that as well?
Yeah, I would say so. And our customer service does get hit up, here and there, saying, hey, it's not the clouds production isn't as big as I thought it would. Am I doing it right? So we do try to get some videos and, upload some content to our YouTube and Instagram to show, how to use it. I think the best way to learn is to see someone do it and
Hmm.
talk you through it. So that's how we actually grew too. We started doing lives on YouTube, and just hanging out with the Boundless crew, showing our products how to use it and showing the clouds that you could get from it. And I feel that attracted a lot of, consumers to actually try it out. Then Instagram came along with their lives, and we started doing those. But there's been a period where we took a little break, and we're going to get back to it now on our Instagram.
Yeah, those are super helpful because I honestly, when I got some of the products to review from you guys, like I'm reading the manual, but I'm like, I'll just go to YouTube and for 2 minutes watch someone, use this. And I had this epiphany. I was thinking like, for half a second, I was like, oh man, this like, it's not like a learning curve, but it's like, it's taking me a second to get this. But I was like, the first time I ever used a pipe, unless someone showed me, even the simple carb on the side,
Exactly.
right? Like
Right. Right.
you didn't know, right? So you gotta like familiarize, same thing with a bong, to pull it out and
Hmm.
like to understand all these different components. There's a slight learning curve no matter what your smoking medium is.
That's true.
um yeah, and it's not distinct to a piece of technology or any, even just like I said, a simple pipe, like, and the other ones with the screens, you got to clean them.
Hmm.
um for on that, because I know your guys' products come with, I don't know, brushes to clean them. What's kind of the cleaning procedure usually look like? What do you guys recommend in terms of like how, like, obviously clean it after every use, or but how often do you recommend like cleaning it with isopropyl alcohol, or is that the preferred cleaning method that you recommend?
Yeah, so the main thing we stress is to empty the herb when you're done, right? So if you empty it right away, those resins aren't going to build up and stick to the chamber, which ends up making it harder to clean in the long run. So empty your session right after it's done. Then I would recommend, like twice a month, to actually break it down and use isopropyl alcohol, get it all pristine and fresh. Then we recommend to run a dry session with the herb vaporizers, which kind of seasons the bowl again and make sure it's all sterilized. So that means you turn it on to max temperature without any herb in it, kind of sterilizes the whole unit. Then you're able to go at it again.
And so just let it run. When you do that, just let it run without using it or without pulling on it, but you let it.
Right, exactly. I would recommend to keep the mouthpiece off so there's air that
Oh, okay.
air is able to pass through.
No, that makes sense, and so that's nice. So, and with the terp pen, how often do you recommend cleaning that?
Yeah, the terpene. This one really depends on how you use it. If you use it, with the dab tool and take kind of smaller dabs, it's gonna stay clean, longer than if you just dip it straight into a jar, which I've seen a lot of people do, and it's hard not to.
Yeah.
But it is easy to clean. You could actually disassemble this middle part, and it's all stainless steel. So you just take an alcohol wipe and wipe it down. The coil is interchangeable too. So you just rotate that off, and you could either replace it with a new coil, which are 2 packs are pretty affordable, 2 for $10, or you can actually do a little burn off on your coil, which means you're just going to let the residual vapor vape off. I have the air path disconnected, so the air is just going to burn off, and it kind of cleans your coil then like that.
Okay, it's just kind of like same thing like a dab rig when you light it up afterwards.
Exactly.
Burn off that. Yeah.
Right.
And so with your guys' educational content, you've obviously worked quite a bit with influencers in the space, and that's one of the, larger marketing channels that's available for cannabis when, it's difficult to run. I mean, you guys are vaporizers, so you might be able to run more paid ads than a flower company, but there's still, like we said, there's still a lot of restrictions around that. So how has it been working with influencers and then just people in the community to create content?
Yeah, we have done a lot of influencer work in these past few years, and it's always fun, working with new influencers and those respected in the cannabis community. We've always had positive experiences. I can't think of anything negative. So we love working with those content creators, and looking forward to keep running it.
And what's like a successful campaign with an influencer look like for you guys?
So we did a release campaign that was pretty successful with us, and it involves like a group of influencers posting, on the same day and kind of releasing content scheduled like together, but not kind of connected, just on their separate accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually leads to an increase in retail sales. You could see it like minutes after the post, or hours after the post, you could see that increase, and it's really successful on our end on the retail side.
And you tend to see that straight through your guys' the data on your guys' e-com through your guys' platform.
Right, correct. So yeah, we monitor how those campaigns do, and that's why we keep doing them, because they're successful. It does help.
Yeah, and would you also say that's one of the few like marketing channels that you feel like is accessible for your guys' business, being cannabis involved in the cannabis space?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely, especially these past few years.
Yeah, absolutely. And then have you guys had? I know you said you are getting flagged, but have you guys had issues with losing Instagram accounts or anything like that as well?
We've been on our original, man. So yeah,
I'm knocking for you.
Keep it running, man. Keep it running. So it's all organic too. We like we work with influencers there, but that's organic from their communities.
Yeah, that's rare in this space to be like we're still running with the original. That's
yeah.
So we'll change the subject. So moving forward over the next couple of years, do you guys see an increase in more concentrate vaporizers, or an increase in dry herb kind of leading continue to lead the charge, or you feel like it's going to be a healthy mix of both of them?
Yeah, so our next product is focused on the dry herb end. We're actually revisiting the CFX, so it's been out on the market for about 6 years now, so it needs an upgrade, and it's still one of our most popular units too. So we do plan on focusing 50-50 still, herb and concentrates. Maybe release a better terpene, upgraded terpene, or something with new specs, USB-C charging.
And then I'm gonna see if I have enough battery on this. Actually, oh yeah, I do. So I was waiting to actually ask you on this. So temperature wise, right?
Yeah.
For vaporizing, what are some of the temperatures you recommend, right? Because like on the Vexel, you have color coded, so it's I choose my 4 modes. from low to high temp. This one gives you a lot more freedom with being able to, and it's got the dial right there, so you can really just select what you want.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the temperatures that you recommend for flower? And then we'll talk about oil second.
Yeah, so flower, I like to start at 385 Fahrenheit. Then you could actually, with the CFX, you could change that degrees by holding these two buttons here, the increase and decrease.
The up and the down, both of them?
Yeah, hold it for like 3 seconds.
Yep.
And,
all right.
Yeah, and you'll go to Fahrenheit.
Perfect, because I seen that Celsius and I was like, I'm not familiar.
But I like to start at 385. Maybe after a minute or two, increase it a little bit more. We call it temp stepping. So you increase your temperature as the session goes on, and you're able to, get that full spectrum of your vaped.
So it's like, so basically what you're saying is you start lower temp, really get the flavor, you increase it, which obviously increases the vapor, and then likely you get more, right? You progressively cook more out of it. I don't know, is that the right term? Cook? I mean, vaporize, vape more of it.
Bake.
I know you're saying convection and what, conduction? Was those the two different types?
Yeah, exactly. Those are the two different heating styles. Then the CFX actually uses a mix of both. So it's a hybrid vaporizer. And that means that you're actually heating it up with that ceramic oven that's right here. Then there's actually an element that sits right below it, and it heats up the air. So a convection element with a conduction chamber.
So I was reading about that. So then is that the similar thing as if I take a longer draw, it'll heat up as I draw?
Yeah. So yeah, the longer you draw on that one, it will help with that convection air too, and get you some pretty big clouds without sacrificing that much flavor.
And the taste, like I said, I'm smoking some of this Alien Labs, this Xeno right now, and it tastes great. It tastes great. So with concentrates, what are the temperatures that you recommend there?
Yeah, for the CFX for concentrate, I would recommend setting it to max temperature, so 430. Then let it sit for about a minute. So
before you start blowing,
right? Then do some long draws and gets that vapor going, vapor production.
And then also on this one, it has the session timer. It's was it 5 minutes, I think, right?
Yeah, so a 5-minute session timer on that. When it's over, it vibrates and goes into a sleep mode, so it doesn't go completely off. If you want to restart the session, you just click it, and the screen will turn back on, and hold the button down for 3 seconds, and that'll restart the heater. So if you want to turn it off, you have to do 5 clicks.
Okay, and then with you load the bowl, like is the average? What is the average, like what's going to last 5 minutes? How much, if I'm drawing on it somewhat consistently, how much cannabis do I need to put in there to kind of make it last 5 minutes?
I would put no more than like 0.4. It does hold a lot, but if you want like a personal session, you just need a couple, scoops. But if you want a group session, load up 0.4, pass it around, and everybody could enjoy some draws there.
And then also, like, so I try to describe this. The high that I get from vaporizers is like it's like more of a head, no matter what I'm smoking, it's like more in my head, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me to describe. Like, and I know everybody's a little bit different, but when I vaporize weed, it's like I feel clear-headed, so it's not like cloudy in my head, but it's like a more airy high. Is there any do you understand like the science or anything behind that of why the high is slightly different than combusting flower?
Yeah, I think it's because you're really getting the full spectrum vaped off of your herb, from the lower temperatures to the higher temperatures. So at lower temperatures, different molecules in your herb, vape off, different THC molecules. And I feel those are like the more heady ones. Versus at the higher temperatures, you get the more body filling molecules vaped off and burned off when you're combusting. So that's why you get more, body high when you're smoking.
Okay, that makes complete sense, because if different things are burning at different temperatures, you're getting a different, like you said, you're getting a different set. If there's 500 different things you're getting when you're lighting something on fire, you're getting
right.
300 when you're vaping, but you're definitely, you're getting the THC and the terps and all that. And then also when, like, if I'm running a session on this, just I'm gonna ask you because I'm using it right now, and I'm not drawing on it, you just set it down. It'll continue obviously to heat the flower, but it's not going to necessarily just like run through it, right?
So with that one, it will, because the conduction chamber. But with a unit like the Terra, which is a full convection, you can set it down and
Okay.
it won't. Yeah,
Just
run.
you that only uses as you use.
Correct.
Man. Yeah, the taste. Like I'm saying, the taste is great, and that's what I've had these products here for I don't know a week or two, and so I've been like stoked to have them because, like I said, that old vaporizer, I love the experience of tasting good flower, but it's just so fucking inconvenient. You know, this definitely makes it a lot more convenient.
Glad you enjoying it, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
most
you trying it out.
certainly. And it's like I said, I'm a blunt smoker, so it's not. I don't really seek out vapes. You know, if I was doing the review, and so that's when I got the product. But I'm like, I'm actually gonna use it. Like, I mean, I'm not actually going to. I actually have been using it. You know, and so
Yeah, and that's key too. You stay hydrated when you're vaping. It does dry out your throat a bit. So I would recommend having bottled water next to you.
yeah, I smoke pretty often, so I gotta try and keep water near me at all times. You know, hydration. So what do you guys? I know you said you got some products in development right now, but what's kind of on the docket for 2022?
Yes, so like I said, we're trying to improve the CFX and get that release early next year. And then we are also looking to expand on the terpene lineup. Not a different version terpene, but the same technology. It's in a different style unit. So I can't really talk much about it, but it's going to use the same heating elements as a terpene and be a concentrate focused unit.
That's something you guys have been working on for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a while now.
Yeah. Getting it. So for people out there that are looking to find these products or more information, your guys' website is, I believe it's boundlesstech.com, but it's BNDLS, right?
Correct. Yeah, bndlstech.com. Then I believe also boundlesstechnology.com works now too.
Okay.
So that's the name of the company, boundlesstechnology.com.
Yeah. And so for people out there interested, go check out their website. We have a couple reviews, I believe, on our site, and I know we're going to have a couple more here coming soon. But this is some products that we're excited about. And thank you for coming up on the podcast today.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Sorry. Hold on.
Hey.
I got little man crashing the podcast episode today. So but he's coming at the end. So no, really appreciate you hopping on here, Eric. And this is the North American Weed Tour podcast, episode 63, Boundless Technology. Definitely let you guys check them out.
Thanks, Mitch.
All right, see you, Eric.